Chainsaw Man ended almost 3 months ago now, and it's quite fair to say it was, well, not well received. But with this series being so close to my heart, I want to make my own case and try and explain to you all why the ending was actually good, at least to me. Immediately I want to start off with Pochita devouring himself, as is quite literally the ultimate resolution for Chainsaw Man. Fujimoto doesn't really rely on typical and action, the typical shonen genre, with the victory, the hero standing tall, victorious at the end above everyone else. But instead, we've seen time and again, whether it's the fight with the Gun Devil or even the end of part 1 with eating Makima, the overarching narrative of part 1 is what love triumphs all. Part 1 established how Denji has no autonomy in the matter, whilst part 2 presented how that same autonomy he yearned for led to the same horrifying outcomes. However, part 1 teaches Denji being Chainsaw Man was just having him be in Pochita's shadow, leading himself to be subjugated by Makima as she manipulates the young boy through lust for her goal of reaching Pochita. But Denji also faces great subjugation from the ones who he loves and holds so dear. Pochita is the forefather of everything that is to come, working as a catalyst for the manga's events. Whilst Aki and Power, who grow into a much more familiar role for Denji, end up serving their lives so that Denji can keep living and bring back the fight to Makima. They all serve each of those characters as a mechanical vehicle carrying the theme of love under many different contrasts. Makima's admiration of Pochita, Aki's revenge into a parental role, and Power's hate for humans shift into a sister role of a human. This displays how Denji is shown as a passenger of his own manga in part 1, whilst in part 2 it shows how even with his expression of autonomy and freedom, it all ultimately leads to the same destination no matter his thought process, which means that Pochita is the outlier that is leading Denji's life into a worse matter. Therefore, Pochita's ultimate sacrifice leaves behind his omnipresent universe to reset it, which actually frees Denji from his traumatic contracts, giving him a second chance to dream again without all the pain he has suffered, as it is Pochita's self-acknowledgement that the pair could never find true happiness together, and it's what brings Denji back to the start, marking the end of the beginning. However, I do want to point out that Pochita mentions, turns out you had the crappiest but best kind of brain, one that can only find heaven when you're in hell. This stays significant because it doesn't remove all the development Denji has done, but acknowledges it and spirals off it, as it firstly speaks on the addictive nature of struggling as he constantly fights for his life, sells his own organs to pay off his father's Yakuza debt, and even eating spoiled food. But Pochita suggests that Denji became addicted to the thrill of climbing above the absolute bottom, therefore having every small victory work as a quote-unquote heaven. Compared to part 2, he has now reached somewhat of a normal life as he goes to school, he makes friends, and he has reached his basic needs, which Fujimoto displays him to be very unsatisfied and numb for the entirety of part 2 physically. Additionally, Pochita's own title accumulates the incompatibility of their lives as it is labelled the hero of hell, creating a vast juxtaposition in Pochita's statement that Denji does not need saving from hell, as it is where his own heaven is. The quote also provides philosophical ideas that humans are happier chasing their dreams than actually living them. It is so explicit with Denji that the act of striving, surviving, and daydreaming about simple pleasures is what gives his life purpose. However, when those dreams were made true, he immediately looked towards the next shallow and immediate desire. His mind was crafted to be wired in finding joy in the hardships, meaning the stability that Pochita gives him makes happiness impossible. Denji is now awoken, mentioning how he feels like he has had a good dream and a bad dream, symbolic of the highs and lows of his journey. Now grounded to his more original aspirations of being able to eat with a girl and play video games. This time when he is ambushed at the old factory instead, Pochita of giving his life away, is Power who saves him instead. And I will admit that this part does feel extremely rushed, but I'm just going to move past that. Public safety now arrives with it being Nayuta instead of Makima. This is because Pochita has never been put on Earth, so it skips her reincarnation of pursuing him on Earth. This then immediately turns Power and Denji's relationship into equals. Whilst on a devil hunt mission, we can see that the two are already back to the sibling-like relationship when they bicker. Firstly, before I do get to the Asa scene, I want to express how I was not at all satisfied with Asa's conclusion. A duality of identity with Yoru was amazing. and I think she was most definitely a self-insert for Fujimoto, and more needed to be done there. But anyway, Denji spots Asa with the devil chicken, that is quite literally the catalyst for spiraling her life out of more control than it already was. But when she trips this time, it leads to one of my favourite pages of the final few chapters. It's a couple images of no text as Denji catches her. But instead, he drops the chainsaw to catch Asa, symbolic of the positive change in his character as he is metaphorically giving up Chainsaw Man to help her, mirroring his care for her in part 2. As before, he would even still transform into Chainsaw Man that put Nagito at risk from public safety. This development is still prevalent in the quite heavily memed Thank You Chainsaw Man panel. This is because Cheetah's heart is almost reborn in Denji. It symbolises that everything he's gone through is still part of himself. It means that all this development had led him to a better life. I believe Fujimoto creates this ending to tell the readers that they don't always find happiness and satisfaction in everything in their lives, especially the little things as we pursue each of our own dreams to keep you afloat. Whilst this is very Fujimoto-like to end like this, it still conveys a great life lesson that has been worked around for the entirety of the manga, like living up to people's expectations and the struggle and damage around there, which is clearly self-inserted by Fujimoto as he makes part 2. And yes, it was not the most perfect ending, but that's what Denji's life was like after all. It was never perfect, it was in fact rough, and he barely got by. But looking back, he enjoyed the struggle, the hardship of his life. And now he is able to live a life where he can be happy, and it's the same for other prolific characters like Power and Arki, who break free of Makima's control and now able to live unbound by trauma and by fear. Now I know I have missed out on many themes and such, but I did not want to focus on any of that or how the Big Lebowski influenced Fujimoto, but only detail the ending in its entirety to my best ability. However, I did expect more for the ending, as I did have a weird loving relationship with part 2. I mean, there was definitely more to cover, but there is an announcement that the final volume will conclude with an additional 12 pages, and I think that Fujimoto might just tidy up the ending to some degree, but of course I would have loved the part 3. And who knows, maybe Fujimoto created this controversial ending on purpose just to make women hate him, because just as you know, that is something he would most definitely enjoy.